I met the Prime Minister of Britain at a conference in Davos in Switzerland. And we had a side meeting, and I mentioned to him the problem that I have and that I want to go and discuss so that he can go and first prepare himself with his people. So from there, I came back here, and then I now went to London. And we had a conversation. And I explained to him the historical injustices. I had a memorandum that I had prepared, which we had forwarded in advance. And he agreed that he would try an out-of-court settlement. He negotiated it in the cabinet. They went to Parliament. And so the British Parliament approved the motion. And also an apology. So they agreed on out-of-court settlement, which is a token. They also agreed to come and put up that monument at Uhuru Park. I was there when we were breaking ground with the British High Commissioner for the construction, okay, of that monument. But that, of course, is not enough. It's not enough, and I was happy that this matter was raised during the visit to the King here. Actually, I was invited by the King to the dinner at State House. Because he is a personal friend. And we had worked with him and his foundation in rehabilitating Lake Naivasha, which was polluted, and marine life was actually dying in Lake Naivasha. So we met first in Oslo with the Prime Minister, then Prime Minister of Norway. And he asked me what his foundation could do. Then there were 4 projects we proposed. There was Mau Conservation, Aberdares, Nairobi River, and Lake Naivasha. They opted for Lake Naivasha. And then he organized a dinner in his residence in London. And I went with a delegation from here. And he invited the companies there which market Kenyan flowers in British markets. Tesco, Marks and Spencer, and several of those departmental stores. Immediately that evening, I was Minister Sally Kosgei. We had a pledge of 600,000 sterling pounds. By the morning, it was 1 million sterling pounds. Then he talked to the Dutch government and gave 6 million euros to rehabilitation Lake Naivasha. And Lake Naivasha was rehabilitated thanks to then Prince Charles. So this matter was raised with him, and I was happy that Mr. Ruto raised it in his speech that day, and it's an ongoing conversation. Paul Mwita suggested a bipartisan approach of opposition and the government. But this must be an inclusive process that deals with all historical injustices and ensure that justice is done and that this matter is finally put to rest permanently. The late General Kiboko had mentioned when we went to bury Mukami in Nyandarua that they were the ones who buried Dedan Kimathi in Kamiti. That he knows where the Dedan Kimathi's grave is in Kamiti. This is an issue that must need to be resolved. Mama Mukami, I wish all the times I was talking to her was that she wanted her husband to be exhumed, the remains, and be buried respectfully at their home. This is also a pending issue that we need to follow up. Because that General Kiboko said it, at the funeral there, later on he fell sick. I went to see him at Nairobi Hospital. He mentioned the same thing to me. But nothing happened, he then also died. As we are here ourselves, we want to ensure that this chapter is put to a proper close, satisfactorily. That those who sacrificed during their struggle, some of them who are dead, are remembered through their offsprings. And those who are now in their sunset years also are given support. The same way that the British government is doing to its war heroes. Those who fought in the Second World War, who are still alive today, don't worry about anything else. So this is what we should do ourselves, so that we bring this chapter to a decent closure. And that's why I'm happy that this thing happened today. Gitu wrote a book, and he asked me to write the foreword, which I've written the foreword to the book which we are going to launch here today. In it, he has given a very good account of what transpired and how the betrayal happened. The wrongs which were done need and must be corrected. And I'm ready to work with you people to ensure that this is done. Mzee wetu Shujaa Giti wa Kaengeri, ndugu wazalendo wakombozi ambaye wako hapa siku ya leo, na wageni wetu ambao wamefika, hamjambo? Hamjambo tena? Sasa nimekaa kwa muda mrefu. Mimi niko na statement ambayo nilikuwa nimetayarisha kusoma hapa, lakini it will be taken as read. Nitaongea vilivyo. I just want to talk briefly about this very, very important occasion in our country. I am happy that this is happening today. And therefore, I want to first begin by thanking the Kenya Human Rights Commission for the good work that they are doing, what they have done, so that we are here today. Sasa, ningependa kwa ufupi kwanza tuseme kwa nini yale yalifanyika, ambayo yalifanyika. What happened? Mnajua kwanza wabeberu walikaa kule Ulaya pale inaitwa Berlin Conference to partition Africa. There was no African who was represented at that meeting. Walikaa tu wao wenyewe wakachora. Wewe Mwingereza utachukua hapa, Mfaransa utachukua hapa, Belgiji utachukua hapa, Mreno hapa, namna hiyo. African was partitioned in Berlin in 1884. Then they came now to take possession. Waingereza wakaja upande hii ya East Africa. They did not come to develop Kenya. They came to colonize and to exploit. So what they did, the first thing they started by building a railway line. Hii railway iliitwa Kenya-Uganda Railway. Ilijenga kutoka Mombasa ikafika Kisumu. Kwa sababu gani? Ilipofika Kisumu ilikuwa tayari imeshafika Uganda. Kisumu was the capital of the eastern province of Uganda. Uganda ilikuwa inakuja mpaka Nakuru. Mpaka hiyo. This was called the East African Territory, and they was just for them here to come and do hunting, for elephant tusks na kadhalika. It was 1904 that they formalized the colony. Sasa kukawa na gavana ambaye anaitwa Sir Charles Eliot. Then mbeberu mmoja alikuja akatoka huko Ulaya, alikuwa anaitwa Hugh Cholmondeley. Baadaye akaitwa bwana Lord Delamere. He came on a horseback through Somalia, akapita pale mlima Kenya, akaona mlima Kenya, baada akaingia pale Laikipia, akiteremka, akaenda pale inaitwa Thompson Falls, Nyahururu, akaingia bonde la Ufa, akapita pale Nakuru, Njoro, Molo, mpaka kule Eldoret, akaenda mpaka mlima Elgon. Akaona nchi ambayo ni mzuri sana, ina rotuba mingi sana. Akarudi hapo kwa mkutano na bwana governor. Sasa mkutano hiyo na governor akamwambia ati nyinyi mmejenga reli. You built a railway line all the way from Mombasa to Kisumu. It was called in the House of Commons the Lunatic Express. A railway line from nowhere to nowhere. What it will carry, nobody knows. So akasema hii gari itakuwa natoka Mombasa imebeba shehena mpaka kule Kisumu mpaka Uganda, lakini kirudi tuko narudi tupu. Manake kulikuwa hakuna mali na beba. Lakini mkianza kufanya farming, ukulima katika hii nchi hii ambayo kuna rotuba mingi namna hii, hiyo reli inaweza kufanya kazi. Mimi niko tayari kwenda Ulaya kuleta wakulima. Waje hapa wakulima. Garantini ya kwamba kila mmoja nimeleta atapewa ekari 10,000 bure. Pili, atapewa wale watu wa kufanya kazi kwa shamba yake hiyo vile bure. Gavana akakubali. Wakaandika mkataba na Delamere aende alete wakulima. Akaenda Ulaya. Alipoenda kule Ulaya, akaaddress town hall meetings. London, Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool. Anaambia watu kule Africa, we have got a land that is flowing with milk and honey. Canaan. Na kila mmoja ambaye atakuja atapewa ekari 10,000 bure na wafanyikazi kufanya kazi kwa shamba yake. Lakini wakati hiyo story ya Afrika kule Ulaya ilikuwa mbaya sana. Watu walikuwa wanaogopa Afrika. Afrika atiko kule kuna mbu, kuna malaria, kuna bilharzia, kuna nyoka na wild natives. Kwa hivyo watu wengi walikuwa hawana haja. Wachache walikubali. Alipokuja hapa akafadhaika, akaambiwa angalie huko kusini Afrika. Akachukua meli hapo Mombasa. Akateremka mpaka Durban. Akakule vile akafanya mikutano. Durban, East London, Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, Kimberley, Johannesburg. Kule akapata wazungu ambao walikuwa mshaishi bara ya Afrika vizazi ya 4 ya 5. Wale ambao hawaogopi Afrika. Na wao wenyewe walikuwa wanafanya kazi kama shamba ya wazungu wenzao. So this prospect of coming and getting their own farms was very appealing because there were people who were working in the farms of their own people. Wakaja kutoka kule Afrika Kusini. Ni sababu wale wengi ambao walikuwa hapa kwa nini wakulima walikuwa ni makaburu.